Yeah, I mean, let's face it.
They're going back to that like the smaller, more compacted maple leaf with thicker lines. That's about it.
I mean, the way the look of the logo looks from the way it's designed, to me, it's a lot like the 50s Maple Leafs logo. I mean, you're right. It's also looking a lot like the alternate jersey from,
Yeah.
I think, like 2004, whatever the year was. Somewhere down that line.
TJ,
Yeah, what's up, bud?
I think your Islanders need to go back to the fishermen.
The thing
No.
is, I was always a
No.
fan of the fish.
No.
Jared,
No.
Jared,
No.
I'm not talking to you right now.
Oh yeah. Thing is, a lot of people hated it. I liked it.
I loved it.
The Hartford Whalers over there.
Jeez. Go back to the fish. Are you crazy?
Dude, the fisherman jerseys were like the okay. Now I know people will make the argument that like the fisherman jerseys are just like the what was it, the 2001 King of Hearts LA jersey. That ugly ass Kings logo. Let me pull it up.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, they'll like put it to that, but like the fisherman made so much sense for the Islanders like logo.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know. Either way, you can't go wrong with the uniform. I don't know. A lot of Islanders fans hated that
I like-
uniform, though.
I like
I
colors.
don't even like them. So, I don't even like them.
Hey, that screaming is it's my daughter. She doesn't want to sleep.
Yeah.
honestly, like I got my Whalers jersey. I got my old Yotes jersey.
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna come back into this, see if my connection won't see if it helps anything. I'll be back.
I got my Fighting Saints jersey. My next one I'm gonna get is a California Golden Seals jersey. Oh, if y'all want to join the page I run, there's 700 people on it. It's called Past Teams of the WHA and NHL. I'm the only admin. Has everything to do with defunct teams.
Well, if you like, you can always link the description to our page, and we can probably get admins to join. Maybe the three of us, or maybe four other admins, are if we're interested. Maybe we can get that going.
Because like I have ex NHL and WHA players dating back all the way to 1970s.
Wow, man. What about the 50s and 60s?
Not that I know of. I have people like Dennis Marouk, Henry Boucher,
Oh, back.
all those guys. That,
That's interesting, I gotta say. But let me ask you this, guys: how good do you think the Boston Bruins will be this year?
fuck the Bruins.
Fair enough.
I fucking hate Boston.
I mean, who doesn't hate Boston? TJ?
Completely honest, I hate fucking Milan Lucic.
Yeah, right. I agree with that.
I hate. If I don't hate the Bruins, I hate fucking Lucic. God, I hate Lucic.
I'm just laughing because
Why you hate him so much?
Cause like Dennis Weidman cross checks a ref and gets 20 games, but Milan Lucic straight sucker punches a ref in the face and gets nothing. And
I'm
it's
just
not,
gonna say this. It's
and it's not the first time he's done it.
yeah. Am I saying that it was the right call? No. Should both get penalized? Yes. Weidman, that was fucked up.
I enjoyed it.
Holy shit.
I enjoyed every. Dude, the refs are ass this year. The officiating this year has been awful for every team.
No, I would say this year, out of any year, I've seen more crybabies in the NHL than ever.
Like every single Detroit Red Wings fan and player, especially Agitator.
that's pretty fair to say. I mean, Boston, they've gotten some fan base for quite some time now, and they just kind of grew out of it. It's not like they just came out and said, "Hey, we want to be hockey fans," and all of a sudden they're good. You got to build a fan base before it starts. I'm not saying that they're like they have the perfect fan base, but you got to build from somewhere, right? Same with any professional NHL franchise.
Let's just let's just remember what the Boston teams and AHL teams and farm teams create. They created Don Cherry.
Oh, Don Cherry created the Boston Bruins.
Don
That's-
Cherry
I think-
created the fucking crazy suits.
Yeah, like, let's just remember, like,
Andre is a fucking idiot.
what?
Don Cherry has been known to say some fucked up shit and then retracted it a lot.
You're right. I mean, didn't he coach the Toronto Maple Leafs at one point in his life?
Oh.
No, he coached the Boston Bruins.
Well, besides Boston, didn't he coach anybody else, or was it Detroit?
Oh, I know this. I got this question. He coached the Americans, which he then went to coach for the Bruins. And after Guy Lafleur made a fool of him not once but twice and maybe 3 times, he then was no longer the coach of the Boston Bruins and went to go coach the Colorado Rockies. And after his stint with the Colorado Rockies in the 80s, he didn't coach again, and that's when he got the job doing Coach Corner. But he coached Rochester, Boston, and Colorado.
Well, I mean, Rochester, the Dynamics have a pretty good team up there.
But I mean, Don Cherry is like he is Canada.
I don't know about the Canada. I mean, if anybody's Canada, it's Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Not
Or
even,
Ariel Hugh.
Wayne Gretzky is more American than anybody.
How? He's Canadian, though.
Well, yeah, he's Canadian by blood. But the way he acts, how long he's lived in the U.S., all the teams he's played for. I mean, okay, he spent a lot of. Let's remember this. In 1978, Wayne Gretzky went to play for the Indianapolis Racers of the World Hockey Association. Halfway through the Racers season, it ended up that the owner of the then Edmonton Oilers was also majority owner of the Racers, and then signed Gretzky over when he knew the league was folding. Then, of course, he played in Edmonton for a little while. Then he moved to LA, and then he played for St. Louis, and now he lives in LA. I mean, he's
With the Rangers, too.
he has in Canada.
I mean, he was also with the Rangers for a little while, but then
Yeah.
kind of died down a little bit. I mean, if only, I don't think Gretzky will ever be an American kind of person. I mean, I know he's Canadian. I get that he played for 3 American teams, but still, you can't take the root away from him. I mean, it's kind of like saying you have to take away Thomas Vanek from his Austrian regions, but then again, he spent more time in America, but he acts more American than he did when he was in Austria, when he came from.
But what we're getting at is Don Cherry is definitely more Canadian than any. I mean, he is a symbol of Canadian nationalism.
That's true.
Giant,
And the Sabres won tonight over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank freaking Lord. It's been too long since they last lost to them.
Okay, what team in particular do you feel bad for? Putting all biases aside, what team do you feel the worst for?
Wait, put all bias aside, who was the worst and
Are we
what?
recording?
Yeah,
Wait,
we are.
We're recording. Cool. So my question was, putting like your bias aside, who do you feel the worst for? What team do you think has just gotten the shit end of the stick this season?
As to what, like the worst team in the league, or as to like a fan base wise?
Just like in general, playing wise, injury wise, trade wise, just who do you feel the worst for?
I have to say the Calgary Flames. I really do. I feel Calgary didn't really make much of an improvement. They were supposed to be this team that was supposed to take the Pacific Division over the Kings and the Oilers and shit like that, and then later they just kind of went downhill and had injury problems. And then,
There's no way they're taking that division over the Kings. Just throwing that one out there.
I mean, they could dethrone the Canucks. I mean, you never know. The Calgary, I think this is just a way of saying, they were a fluke. They made the playoffs last year, and then all of a sudden, they just kind of went down the shitter this year, and now they're in contention to get possibly Jesse Pujols or Patrick Lane, or maybe even Austin Matthews if they're lucky.
That's what happens to a lot of teams. They first off, especially after that rebuild process, they make the playoffs for the first year, and then you go ahead and you don't make it the following pursuing year. Happened with the Florida Panthers, happened with the New York Islanders. It always happens.
And the Buffalo
It's
Sabres are on
almost,
that range
it's
too.
almost like that sophomore slump a little bit, and then after that you'll see an increase.
Okay, guys, I'm back.
Hey, hello. What's up?
TJ, who? What about you? Who do you feel sorry for this season?
Well, a lot of people give the Toronto Maple Leafs crap. I don't know. I think they definitely have an upward slope, so I really don't feel bad for them. I really think Mike Babcock is going to do a great job there. I want to say I feel the worst for the Coyotes.
Why?
Why not? That's a better posed question. Why not feel
Hey,
bad?
hey, who said the Coyotes?
TJ did.
Yeah, I think I side with TJ. I think I feel bad with the Yotes.
I said the
The
Calgary
thing is,
Flames.
Max Domi's playing well. That's great. He's had a great season so far. My big thing is you play in a market where fan support not very high. Let's be honest. Um, it's normally like 105 degrees out there towards summertime. Pretty
And
damn hot.
and plus they get sent one of the greatest or one of the best hockey players there is now, or was Alex Tanguay. And he's just gonna go down a drain, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
he was a shell of his former self. Let's be honest.
Oh, he is. I'm no by no means am I saying he's a what he was, but
uh,
So I honestly have to agree with both Jerry and TJ on the Yotes. I mean, going back, they also had the whole issue with Glendale, the mayor of Glendale, and the moving of arenas across town,
Yeah.
the name change, the fans fighting to keep their team, and then you had the Bodker trade.
yeah. I
And
felt like they got ripped off in that trade, to be honest.
I'm a huge Bodker fan. Like that's the only reason I like followed like Coyotes like at all. Bodker. But like not only with the Bodker trade, but they also got caught up with the whole scandal between John Scott and like forcing John Scott away from Arizona
That's
and
right.
what's his name? Bettman, basically
Yeah.
forcing the NHL's hand on the Yotes.
Pretty ridiculous, if you ask me.
I mean,
I feel glad for Colorado in making out in a trade from Arizona, but in the long run, I don't see Arizona continuing to play in Arizona for a while.
I don't think so. Aren't the Florida Panthers in that same situation too? Except they're under a contract till like 2020, 21 or something like
I
that.
think the Florida Panthers are pretty
It's
solid.
got like 80 million.
The Florida Panthers are selling a lot of tickets. I mean, all you got to do is win, especially for those Florida-based teams. You win, people come. I mean, hell, they're all throwing the rats on the ice. They've got, the nice little branding of the Spacey and Space sweatshirts and stuff like that. They're doing fine right now. The thing is, they're only going to get better. They built that team with good youth, and the thing is, they augmented it well with whether it be the Yagers and the Willie Mitchells and the Roberto Luongos. They augmented it in the Brian Campbells with old veterans that know how to win, have been Stanley Cup performers, and to teach the young guys how to win. And the thing is, that's important. That's what talent always does. He always ensures that they have of the veteran leadership that these young players need to freaking see in order to grow and groom into the possible potential that they once had.
That is very true. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that are like Florida. I mean, Tampa Bay Lightning, but the problem is Tampa Bay Lightning, I think directly after the playoffs, they're going to go down the shitter. I mean, that's especially if they don't sign Stamkos and if they don't sign the triplets and they don't sign Ben Bishop. And that's just in general. Because right now the Bolts are having trouble. And if they were that confident, to be honest, guys, if Steven Stamkos and the Lightning were that confident to get him signed long term, they should have done it way back in like October. Let's be completely
Something, they're not very confident. The thing is, if they were super confident too, they would have been more willing to part with Drouin, I believe, if you pronounce it. How do you pronounce it, Stephanie? Drouin.
Druin, yeah. Jonathan Druin.
They would have parted with Drouin a long time ago. The thing is, I understand he's a toxic asset. They don't want to get rid of him right away. But especially now that you're trying to leverage off that you might be losing, that former number one overall pick in Steven Stamkos, at least you try to keep a little bit what you have.
So I
I
wanna quickly segue back into what Bobby said about him saying that how the Coyotes might not be playing in Arizona for much longer. I mean, I study relocation teams a lot. But like, who would buy the Coyotes franchise?
where
I mean,
where do you what do you think is going to happen with Steven Stamkos?
He's
Like,
going to the Buffalo Sabres. Not even a buy.
No.
you think everybody's going to the Sabres?
Robert, to answer your question, I'm not sure there. I'm sure there's got to be someone who's willing to buy, but it's got to always be at the right price.
I personally, I don't think Stamkos is going to go anywhere. I think he's going to get somewhere close to what Kopitar is getting, but it's not going to be that 10 mil.
Whoa! You're saying Stamkos is going to go as much as
Stamkos wants $10 to $11 million. That's what the guaranteed number was.
I think Tampa is dumb enough to pay him.
Bergevin will not give Stamkos that much.
No, not at all. I mean, I can see Stamkos going to Toronto.
No
I
way.
think you're wrong.
And
Stamkos is totally worth that money.
actually,
I mean, I don't give a shit about Stamkos. So
early the season, Tampa was, if Toronto was wanted Stamkos from the beginning of the year.
I mean, I honestly thought if Tampa Bay didn't do anything with Stamkos before the trade deadline,
That was my top idea.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Stamkos, no matter who he goes to, he's gonna get the $10 to $11 million contract. But you also have to think, for anybody who gets him, they're gonna have trouble signing their other assets. Like, say, for example, Toronto. You know, I know they dumped salary a while back with getting rid of Dion Phaneuf and Phil Kessel and all those guys. I get that. But what are they going to do with JVR down the road? What are they going to do with Jonathan Bernier down the road? What are they going to
They're
do
not worried
with...
about that. The thing is, good teams don't worry about that. The thing is, you look at what Dave Talon did in Chicago. They don't worry about that because you know what? You can allocate these players and get rid of them like that at a flick of a wrist. Thing is, you always have to compete to win for now. Thing is, Stamkos' trade value, even if you sign him to a huge contract like that, is still going to be very high. It's not going to decrease an exponential amount just because he's signed to a large contract. It's not like his play is going to drop so low where it's not like, you know what, he's not worth $10 million this year.
But you also have to think, he's one of the best snipers in the league, so he's absolutely deserving of a $10 to $11 million contract.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And the thing is,
I don't say 11. I would say 10 to 9.5.
I was thinking about where Jerry said. I was about nine mil. Like,
I'm with Bobby.
no
Because
way.
first off, is okay? Just say this: is Kopitar worth 10 million?
No.
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 Near.
Kopitar-
I would say Kopitar is worth 6.5.
Kopitar's worth more than 6.5 in my book. He might not put it up in the numbers, but he has intangibles and he's a complete player. He plays solid defense too.
I mean, Kopi, I think to me is worth about $7 to $8 million at most, if not half the salary.
To be completely honest, they signed Kopitar to such a high contract because he is LA.
Yeah.
Same with Gabrick.
And plus, you know, the Kings just got another set of hands with Versteeg.
That's true.
If we're gonna start shooting shit about Carolina, I can go all day about this because there's so
No,
much.
I'm just saying, like, with
Carolina.
the Kings right now I think they have a really, really very good offense. Because you got Jeff Carter, you got Brown, you got Kopitar.
Carter's way past what he was. I don't really see much in Carter. Dustin Brown's more of that power forward type. Thing is, I wouldn't call them more of an offensive powerhouse, the Kings. I call their game probably the most complete game, and they play that collapsing defense that's perfect for playoff style hockey. Quick is really low to the ground. He blocks all those redirection shots, and he's just got such no pun intended, with such a quick reaction time in order to stop those shots. They're a playoff built team. They're physical, and they play a complete game.
And they have.
I wish Marion Gabrick was the player he used to be. He's fading fast. I mean, fast.
I wish Danny Heatley was the player he used to be.
And he's overpaid.
Gabrick?
Yes.
What's his What's his contract right now?
I believe he's making about 8 to 9 mil per season. I could look this up.
Holy shit!
If anybody has
Yeah.
General Manager on them, that'd be awesome.
I mean,
But I'm pretty sure Gabrick is making $8.9 million at
while you're
post.
Hold on.
that up, I want to bring up another pretty during the just before the trade deadline, just some more bigger things. Dustin Bufflin, worth $34 million now.
Oh,
What do y'all think about Flu?
I thought that was a bad contract.
That's ridiculous.
Really? I mean, I love Dustin Bufflin just because.
All right, let me shoot you guys with some stats. Marion Gabrick, this current season, he's played in 54 games. He's posted up 12 goals, 10 assists, totaling 22 points with a plus minus -6.
Ooh.
Not the best, but he scores a goal pretty much like 1 in every 5 games.
Okay. He's also 34 years old. The thing is, his average cap hits a little under $5 million.
I mean, the man in the past 5 games, the man has put up some decent points. He has 3 goals in the past 5 games with 1 assist. He's putting in numbers. He's putting in more shots on goal. He's getting decent time on ice. I think the man could come back maybe for 1 year, but he's not going to post anything over 20 goal season.
I mean, Gabrick was never the same after he left for the Rangers. Let's be honest, guys. I mean, he was great with Minnie, but that's that. And
Yeah, he was never the same after he left with the Wild. Are you kidding me?
Oh, and the answer to your question, guys, about the salary cap, about Gabrick, he's making about 4.875 mil in the cap right now as we speak.
As it stands, as a 34-year-old shell that he was, Gabrick should be making 2.5 to 3 mil. 3 is very at the most, but I think he's worth 2.5.
I mean,
Paid off prior performances. Last year, he was worth more than 2.5, 3 million.
Yeah, because in the 14-15 season, the man was he was stellar. In 69 games, the man posted 27 goals, very well, 20 assists, 47 points, a plus minus of +7. He was putting shots on the net. He was kind of one of the go-to guys for LA.
That's true. And would it be the same thing if we said something about like Marian Hossa at 35 years old, 36 years old?
How
Wow. Host is kind of like the mini-me of Yager, I think. He can't put up the goals, but the man can assist you.
But hey, well, I think Miriam Hosa is going to be the next Yager. He's going to be playing unless he gets a big injury that affects his career now. Miriam Hosa can still play with the best of them at what 34.
You think he's going to be a Hosa?
No. Thing is, I'm going to tell you what differentiates Yager between Hosa. I don't know, about a few inches, and I want to say about 20, 30 pounds. I'm letting you know something. Okay, Yager also played in the KHL where their seasons are like 40 games long. Okay, that's a lot of wear and tear he saved off his body as well playing overseas. They don't play anywhere near as physical of a game either over there. So I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't like he wasn't even playing there. I mean, I'm a big Yager fan, but it definitely helped preserve his body for a while. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. So Hossa right now at 37 years old, he's making about 5 mil. He's making around that range, about 5,275,000 in his salary for the next, I think, 8 years. The following year, he makes the same amount of cap, and he's an unrestricted free agent of 2020 and 21.
This is why I say Hosa is worth a 5 mil, because Hosa is the man who will help you play the puck. If you look at his current stats and right now, he's got 10 goals. Obviously, the man can get to the net. 18 assists, 28 points, plus minus of 10. So the man is out there on the ice when goals are being made. He's not really out there when goals are against. So the man can also play a little defense as well. I think he's worth it.
I think so too.
I'm gonna call it at night because I have to get up early, like at
Stay up for you on that.
Later.
All right. Um,
So this is
I think Host is worth it because the man is aging, but the man is worth it.
I don't know about that, man. That's the only one where I'm like, he's gonna be getting old.
Yeah, same with Yager. I think Yager has maybe 1 year, 2 years left on him, maybe.
The reason I don't mind Yager, especially for the situation they're in, is they need a natural born winner to teach those kids how to win. You think about how many first round draft picks they have playing up on that team, whether it be Howden or Huberto or Barkov or Ekblad. I feel like they've done such a good job in their first round.
I think we need to
Bukestad.
focus on Barkov.
What about Barkov?
The man is coming up fast.
One thing is, a lot of people doubted him last year because he had a little bit of a cold streak. You know what? That entire team is a good team. That's a well put together team right there. That is a good old talent team right there. I'll tell you that much. That's how he builds it.
Yeah, and the question is,
Draft.
I'll put it to you this way: Barkov has been in the league for 3 years, and each year he is building up his goals and his assists and his points. He is only going to get better. Alexander Barkov is going to be a good face for Florida.
He won't be the face for Florida.
definitely not.
Now I'm saying the face. He's going to be a good face. So, like, okay, when you think of Carolina, like, there's a couple faces you see. I mean,
You see one face, now you see Eric Stahl.
Rob Brendan Moore.
But I'm saying, like, there's going to be faces that you're going to, like, see with the team.
You
And I
think about the
Barkov is gonna
NHL,
be one of them.
they're gonna. I'll let you know something. When they think of the NHL and they think about the Carolina Hurricanes, there's one face for every team. Just about. The Islanders are John Tavares. People might love Okposo and people might love the Matt Martins. There's one face per team. The thing is, like, the Kings are maybe one of the few teams where you're like, who do you put? Kopitar, Quick, Brown? I don't know.
Quick.
That's up for argument. I
It's
feel.
quick.
I mean, like the Sabres, it would be Jack Eichel or Sam Reinhart or Vander Kane, Ryan O'Reilly. But if you look down in history, in like the history of the team, you know, you think of names like Dominic Hasek, example. Dominic Hasek, the French Connection with Gilbert Perrault and Rennie Weber and Rick Martin, etc.
Go old Brian Holzinger.
Brian Holzinger, Pat
It's a
LaFontaine,
fan. Holy shit. Now we're talking about going back to the machine. Michael Pekka.
Michael Pekka. That's another. I love Michael Pekka, dude. Dude, that was fucking awesome. All right, Michael Pekka was an animal. All right?
No, I'm just saying, Barkov for Florida, I think he's going to continue to get better. The man is 20 years old.
I hope
He's only been in 3 seasons. He kind of reminds me of, like, a Jeff Skinner, if you will, but not the goal scorer as he was if he's young, but he's going to get better. I think he's going to surpass Jeff Skinner.
Do you think so?
He's a better skater than Skinner. He's better on the
Yes.
puck. He's better at defense. He might not have as good as a shot. I don't know. Their games are completely different. He's more of a
He's
playmaker and
bigger
creates
than Skinner.
opportunities.
It's awful because Jeff Skinner. It's awful that you say that because Jeff Skinner's our lead goal scorer.
Jeff Skinner is not the man who drove to the net when he was first young. The game has changed. The game changes so rapidly. You either have to be able to adjust, or you're just going to be left behind. And either Jeff Skinner is lagging, or he just can't keep up.
Thing is, Jeff Skinner is not a guy who really creates too much of his own opportunities. He's a good shooter, don't get me wrong. He's a very poor skater for the position he plays. To be like a sharp-shooting winger there, man, you got to have a little bit better skating opportunity, a little better defensive play.
I don't
You've
think
got
Jeff
no one else
Skinner.
to set you up really down there. It's a crap team in Carolina.
Jeff Skinner is not set up on a proper line that he needs to be in. Skinner needs to be left alone by himself, and he only needs to touch the puck when he's ready to fire to the net.
Okay, but just to respond to TJ, what he's saying about Carolina being a crap team, you got to remember we're playing with what 6 to 7 AHL players a game.
6 to 7 what? I'm sorry.
AHL players. I mean, right now we're playing with Giuseppe, Ryan Murphy, Derek Ryan, Brendan Woods, who we brought up another guy. Can't remember his name. But we're playing with like AHL players right now, and we're still posting a positive season. I mean, what we're doing is, yeah, we're bad right now, but we're preparing these kids who are playing really well right
Okay,
now. Brought up.
Rob, I'll say it's like me and you are both Canes fans, but I think we both have to agree right now that the Canes have done this in the past. It's not working, but this year's season, the Canes' young lineup has been progressing better than normal, but the Canes are still stuck in that rebuilding phase. But I will also add this, and I'll end on this, that Ron Francis has been taking care of this, and it's been getting better with Francis.
So, to add on to what Jerry's saying, you want to know what is hindering our rebuilding? Freaking Cam Ward.
I can hear you thumping. I think I heard Ward.
So I have hockey tape in my hand right now. Cam Ward.
Put your mouth over the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Cam Ward is completely screwing with our goaltending situation. We had Eddie Lack, who's pretty good. I mean, when he's in the zone, when he keeps playing with the team and not doing maybe one game here or there, he does well. And then you have Daniel Atschuler, who was posting before he kept getting completely shafted by the organization. He was the best goalie in the ECHL. But here's the thing.
The best goalie in the ECHL is like saying you're the best hitter in AA baseball. Not saying much.
Or the best quarterback in the NFL.
What I'm really getting out of here is Cam Ward is getting old. He's not doing what he used to do at all.
Absolutely
and
not.
We just keep shifting these young goaltenders through the leagues. And we're just completely screwing up our goaltending.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. And if you guys had looked in the post earlier about the free agency that's coming up, Cam Ward right now is the highest paid goaltender that there is. That's coming up on free agency.
Really? That's a lot of
Not
money.
not the whole entire league. Just he's the highest paid goaltender that's becoming a unrestricted free agent next season. I think the Canes won't let him go quietly. When it comes down to trade time, I think they're going to use him as an asset to acquire a draft pick, perhaps. Is he worth maybe a first rounder? Maybe if they added maybe a third round draft pick.
Yeah.
But he's not
First round
just
draft pick
alone.
for Cam Ward.
Alone, Cam Ward is not worth his weight in a lot of things. Can't an equal like a winger aspect. I think Cam Ward is maybe worth a second line winger.
No, I guess we're completely different here, man. I mean, in the last 4 years, his save percentage is like right around like a 905. His goals against average is pretty crappy, and he's on the bad side of 32. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking of hoping to get in this guy in return. Remember, these teams aren't willing to pick up old, washed-up goaltenders for a lot. I don't know.
I wouldn't even say Cam Ward is really washed up. In essence, I think we need to see Cam Ward play for a different team.
I think if any
that
team
is
Cam
great.
Ward goes to, it's going to be the Calgary Flames, in my opinion. I think he will personally get the time that he wants, and he'll play in more prospective games. He might, I hate to say this to you, Rob, but I think he's going to dethrone Kari Ramo off the charts if he does get traded or at least signs with the Calgary Flames.
And you know what? I think Bobby has a valid point in that. It honestly, I thought this too. If Cam Ward gets traded, it's going to be to the Flames. It's going to be for a draft pick.
Because if the Flames didn't suck this bad with at least a consistent number one starter, I mean, look at the Buffalo Sabres. Just throwing them as an example. And I'm not even being biased about this, guys. If you bring in a goalie that could get you wins on a night base, like a nightly base and day base or whatever, like think of Robin Leonard. Robin Leonard never got the opportunity to be a legit number one starter until he got traded to Buffalo. And now he's putting up the most points that he could have, and out of any goalie on the market right now, even being months after injury, months. And the fact is that if you have a guy like Cam Ward play on a Canadian market like Calgary, I guarantee you, and especially now, I mean, I know they don't have the proper defense, but the Flames are going to do work. in the offseason. And if they get their hands on Cam Ward for some reason, they're going to be a better team in terms of statistics, in terms of goals against average and save percentage and shit like that. It's going to happen. And that's just me being unbiased. The Calgary Flames will be, yes.
I think Cam Ward will benefit from going to the Flames. I honestly do.
I mean,
Robert, speak, brother.
Thank you. What I've been hearing, at least at my school and around my school and in Charlotte, was that the Blue Jackets were going to try to pick up Cam Ward in the near future to get rid of Bobrovsky.
why?
Do you have anybody that they're willing to get rid of him for? Did you hear any names?
I mean, I haven't heard any names. It's more just like Columbus is looking for a veteran goaltender, even just to be basically like a backup mentor to a new goaltender. But I've been hearing a lot about Columbus picking him up, not Calgary. I mean, Calgary, you got Jonas Hiller, and then you got Kari Ramo.
Hiller's done for. He's done.
Yeah, Hiller's really old.
You still got Kari Ramo, though, and Kari Ramo with the correct training.
Ramo's done.
Yeah, Ramo is an AHL goalie. Let's just put it at that.
He's not, though.
He's like the Michael Lettinen of AHL goalies. Holy shit.
Why the fuck do you think Tampa Bay let him be an AHL starter years ago? I mean, if they were legitimately serious about him, he would be a starter by now. Not even if Ben Bishop wasn't even there beforehand. Let's be honest. I mean,
to be completely honest, though, when you talk about Kari Ramo being an AHL goalie, look at the goalie for the freaking Hurricanes. We have 3 goaltenders that we bring up, and Cam Ward is sucking ass this year. I mean, you can't just beat down on Kari Ramo and then have a goalie like Cam Ward.
He's not all the problems behind the Flames. It's not like if you put a magical goaltender or you put a Lundqvist back there, hey, they're winning the playoffs. That's not your biggest problem. You got other fish to fry.
what about
Don't get me wrong.
Carey Price? I mean,
Don't get me wrong. I mean, it'd be great to have a Carey Price on your team or a Lundqvist on your team, but not every team is fortunate enough to have that. You got to make do with what you have.
I mean, goalies is talking about goalies is a very sensitive subject since I'm a goalie. Like I played hockey, I played ice hockey, I played roller hockey, I played deck hockey now. I've been a goaltender for all of them, and like the physical demand that a goaltender has to produce is immense. And to have basically almost kind of like a raw talent that Kari Ramo has, he just hasn't tapped into it. And I think if he got moved from the Flames or somewhere, I think he could be really good.
Goalie's a weird position, man. I'm telling you, look at the Tim Thomas story. Look at all those stories. Goalies mature all at different levels. It all really depends on the defensive style you play in front of them, what type of style you put them in. I don't know. It's tough. It's also hard when you look at these stats to realize, hey, let's see how many defensive breakdowns we have here. Let's see how many fast break opportunities they have where it's a damn 2-on-1 and you're limited with what you can do in net and on defense. It's more than just numbers.
It's so easy just to trash on the goaltender without even realizing that he actually might be good. I mean, who was it?
Bobby.
yeah.
Are you getting okay? I think in my head, I think I know where you're getting at. Are you talking about you can't hate on the goalie if you look at the defense as well?
That was me. But here's the thing. If you want to build a championship team, you have to have 2 things. You have to have a good defensive core, and you need a good goalie. And I'm not saying that the offense gets all of the praise, because that's not true. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were so good in the playoffs last year, but the main reason why Chicago was so capable of taking down Tampa Bay in 6 games was because Tampa Bay did not have a consistent defense. And Ben Bishop didn't play the best of his ability, and on top of that, that guy was also injured. So to think back, you also have to think, I mean, there's so many good teams you can think of. I mean, the 94 Rangers, they had one of the best defenses in the game, even though I hate the fucking Rangers.
Was that when they had Mike Richter?
Yeah. No, I think it was before Richter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere down that line. I mean,
before we continue any farther, I just want to say, Bobby, you don't need a good goaltender to win a Stanley Cup. Look at the New Jersey Devils with Martin Brodeur.
Look at the Colorado Avalanche. You have Patrick Watt. I mean, without him, they wouldn't be able to win shit. Let's be honest.
Brodeur was actually statistically garbage.
Brodeur, I don't really rely on statistics. I really rely on how he plays. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm unbiased about statistics because statistics, yes, they don't lie. I'm not saying that, but Brodeur, I don't know if that's hard to say because he's one of the best goalies to ever play the game. I mean, that's like comparing, the statistics that Patrick Waugh had and the statistics that Marty Brodeur had. I mean, they're two completely different opposite goalies. But like I said, in football, you always have to go with offense wins games and defense wins championships. It's the same motto in all professional sports. Hockey, it may be a little different, but you still have to have a consistent defense because you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot have a goalie carry a whole team by himself. I mean, it's like if the Montreal Canadiens wanted to win the Stanley Cup tomorrow, which they're not going to, without Carey Price, there would not even be a competitive playoff team, and that just makes logical sense.
Well, okay. I'm just going to poke a few holes here. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate or anything. I think the most important thing in order to be a good playoff-style hockey team, because any hockey fan knows how they call a game in the regular season and how they call a game in the playoffs are completely different.
Yeah.
Calls that are always calls, interference calls, all these, a whole bunch of calls.
Bobby, set your video thing up.
The what?
Anything like that.
I can see your symbol now, but I just can't see you.
I can't
Well-
be able to see Bobby or Jerry. I can only see DJ.
It's you gotta go into your settings and stuff and set
There
your
you go.
options up in the video.
Can you see me now?
Hands and stuff.
Anyway,
It's fixed.
you have to be physical. That is the biggest thing. I mean, not only you have to have talent, but you have to be able to play a physical game
Okay.
because all those series of hard hitting physical hockey is going to wear down on you, and especially towards the end, if you don't have a physical team, you're not going to be able to last in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Well, that's why Tampa Bay was so good because they had physicality. They had almost every bit of chemistry. I mean, the Bruins a couple years ago.
The East is also very weak compared to the West. Throwing that one out there too.
But
Oh yeah, sure.
But the West is a little bit more competitive than the East.
Okay, so who do you think right now? Which team has the best defensive core?
Black.
That's hard to say. That's
Which
Which
defensive
team
core.
can dominate and stop the play?
I want to say the Capitals, but I don't think that's there yet.
Chicago.
I'm going to go with a staple. It might be a little bit of a shocker. It's either one of two teams. It's the Nashville Predators, who I always love. Oh, yeah, give me that look. Whether it be with Pekka Rinne, and they've got the good, solid defensive core. You look at it, they always play good, solid defense. Or it's got to be the Kings. You just look at it, and the thing is, they might not have. It's in the regular. I'm talking about postseason play here. And the regular season, yeah, you know what? I know in the regular season 2 years ago, Quick didn't put up great numbers, or maybe it was last year. Didn't put up great numbers. Doesn't matter because when he gets to the playoffs, it's a completely different beast, and he really shows up there. Those teams really show up and play defensively in the playoffs.
I think the Blues could be up there too.
I remember back in what it was like 09, 08, 09, around then when the Blues were on fire and David Backes was in his prime. Like Backes used to be super good.
I mean, he still is good now, but he just needs line mates. That's the problem because Tarasenko kind of took over the whole face of the St. Louis Blues franchise because before Tarasenko, it was all David Backes. But now that he came into the picture, Backes is kind of like, exiled from the face of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a complete exilability from the St. Louis Blues perspective. I mean, ever since Tarasenko came in, it was
All right, let me give you guys something right now, some little bit of stats. The best teams right now the best penalty kill currently right now, and I'll give you the top 10, is the St. Louis Blues holds a 86.6 penalty kill percentage, followed by the Islanders, which is 86 as well. Anaheim Ducks, Washington Capitals, the Canadiens, Penguins, Lightning, the Hurricanes, the Sabres, and rounding out the 10 is the Bruins.
I'm actually shocked the Sabres are on that list considering they're a bottom 10 team in the league.
They are at 82% of the time they will kill the penalty on.
Well, yeah, because Dan Bylsma was always a good penalty killing coach. He was always a good. That's the thing about Dan Bylsma. The thing I love as a Sabres fan is the fact that he was able to fix the special teams, because penalty kill was awful last year. The power play was awful last year, and ever since Dan Bylsma came in, everything changed.
Okay, but just say this. I think you and TJ and Rob will get what I'm getting at when I say it is that look at your teams that have the best penalty kills, and you will see some of your best defense.
Well, I mean, the Sabres at least.
Because you got to have a solid.
You
At
also see
least
some good
your
goals.
offense can have a good defense, but your defense has to be on key. Can they clear the puck?
Well, I mean, they have a hard time, but usually they get the job done as long as there's no goals in play. They usually just get it done. I know that sounds a little bit scrappy, but that's the truth. The Sabres, they're not the best penalty killing team in the league, but they certainly can kill penalties if it's made adjustments. But the problem is the Sabres take way too many penalties, and I think they have no. I know they have no control of that, but that's just this thing, is the penalty kill is always there. And I know they're not number 3 or 5 in the penalty kill, but they're somewhere like between 12 and 14. The Sabres are still pretty good legitimately on the penalty kill.
All right, who in all the NHL right now, you guys without looking, who do you think is the team with the worst penalty kill?
Worst penalty kill.
Can I
That's
say
hard to.
1 second for 1 second, just for like 1 second here. I just want to give you guys a quick, just brief update. In the Sharks and Flames game, you know how the Sharks are leading the Flames 1-0 with like 7 minutes left.
Yes.
The Flames have put 42 shots on goal. The Sharks have put 20.
What the fuck?
22 shots on goal for the Flames and no goals.
Okay, I'll say this too. If I don't really count that as much because the Canes put a lot of shots on goal too, but a lot of them are like pepper shots.
Yeah, but we take shots from like the fucking blue line.
Exactly. Like, are they easy shots? Because the easy shots still count as a shot on goal.
Because we'll have like Hannafin and Giuseppe be like la da da slap shot, catches like the far right pad, and then backs off and is like, oh, a shot on goal.
Worst penalty killing team, in my opinion, is the Edmonton Oilers.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to disagree. You know what? Thing is,
You think it's the Oilers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Worst penalty kill.
Worst penalty kill for me would.
Worst penalty kill in NHL is sitting at an average of 73, but they also pretty much hold the worst penalty kill at home too. Actually, they hold the worst at home.
Detroit Red Wings.
Who?
Is it the Detroit Red Wings?
No, it's not.
Damn, because aren't they pretty far down on the list for even on the power play too?
No, actually, the Wings are like right in the middle.
Because like my friend's a big Wings fan. We watch all the games, and he can't stand to watch them because I think it was they had 19 in the past 19 power plays. They had 2 goals, something like that.
It's actually the worst team for the penalty kill is the Calgary Flames.
oh, it was the Senators. Oh, hey, well,
Hey, the Senators are second to last. You can't really beat them. The Flames hold a 73.7% penalty kill, while the Senators hold a 73.8. So literally, it's night and day.
Well, where's the Edmonton Oilers at this point?
The Edmonton
Second
Oilers, pretty much right in the middle. 16
oh, shit.
out of 30. So I mean, you can't really. I mean, they're in the middle.
Hey Bobby,
Yeah, what's up?
are we posting this on the page?
Yes, we are.
Because I'm gonna get crucified for talking shit about Brodeur.
I don't think so, man.
Like
I mean-
I love that his name and number got boosted up into the Raptors and shit. But like, you take away Brodeur's defense, he's a chump goalie.
I don't think so.
Alright.
I mean, even if Marty Brodeur was playing in the juniors when he was playing at that time, I still think that he would still be a great goalie. Because let's be honest here, guys, who makes those crazy ass moves other than him and Patrick Waugh?
Kari Ramo.
Oh, shut up.
Ari Ramo does it because he's having a seizure.
That's fucked up, man.
Kari Ramo is like one of the last true athletic athletic goalies out there.
I don't know about the last, but there are.
I don't know, man.
I mean, Cam Ward was pretty
Have you seen
athletic in the
Pecorine?
day. Huh? How is he-
Pecorine helps because he's damn huge. That's what helps him.
Robin Leonard too is 6'5".
Yeah.
I mean, but like the diving, sprawling, exciting saves, like Kari Ramos still got that in the bag. That's why Kari Ramos is so much fun to watch.
Oh, that's probably why the Calgary Flames are
I'm gonna
all
give
the way
that
at the
to Roberto
bottom.
If you
Luonga.
say that, then you should put Jonathan Quick because that motherfucker stands on his head.
Bobby Lou.
Yeah.
Bobby Lou's my goalie. Had to pick one. That's who it is.
I
You
mean,
know, I
let's-
actually think
let's
if
think
there's
like-
anybody,
For a second, who do y'all think the greatest goaltender of all time was? I'm talking pre or post 1926.
well, I'm a little biased about my opinion. So if anything, I'm gonna try to say this as unbiased. I'm gonna say Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur, Dominic Hasek, Eddie Belfour, and Jacques Plante. That's my top 5.
Jacques Plante and Eddie Belfour makes sense, but Patrick Waugh and Brodeur make no sense.
I mean,
What
they
about
are.
y'all?
I would say Jacques Watt because if that dude played in a modern era with the equipment we had, the dude would be afraid of nothing.
No, definitely not. Eddie Belfour too.
Okay,
Eddie
they also played stand-up style goalie back in that time period. So I mean, hey, they didn't even play butterfly style goalie then.
There was no butterfly back then.
Either way, TJ,
That's what I said. I said it's a completely
Yeah.
different game. That's why I do not give.
Dominic
Yeah,
Hasek.
don't get me wrong, they're great
Dominic
goalies for the
Hasek
time
for
period. The game has changed. They're not using damn straight wooden sticks anymore. They're
Exactly.
using curved sticks. They're firing at it like 100 miles an hour. They're
I
wearing
think-
pads. They're wearing masks. They get down to butterfly. I don't know. It's hard. Those are two
Dominic
different.
Hasek pretty much created the butterfly format for any goaltender.
Okay. Okay. Can we put like post 90s, like 90 and above best goalie?
Okay, we'll do 90 and above best goalie.
Maybe. But here's my question. Here's a really tough question for you guys. Who is your top 5 worst goalies?
Worst?
Worst.
Holy shit.
You can't
Yeah.
do that, man.
That's hard. Like
Anybody can.
that's honestly kind of hard.
I can name one.
It's
DP.
not fair.
Don't do that to me. I think you set me up for that. He is a terrible goaltender.
Who'd you say?
DiPietro.
Oh my god, did you know he tried out for the Hurricanes 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe they should sign him to a huge 10-year contract. I heard that's
I've
really
never
good these
seen
days.
that big of a contract offered to a goaltender ever.
I would definitely say the worst goalie I've seen in the 90s was Peter Sidorowicz. Sidorowicz of the Hartford Whalers. He was pretty he was pretty crappy.
Oh, hey, Rob, who was the goalie for the Canes that would dive out the way for the puck?
Rasmus Tiernan.
No. It was, I think it started with a G. John Graham.
Ooh,
Graham.
John Graham, yeah. He won a cup with Tampa Bay. I remember he played for the. He actually signed with the Islanders at one point, but never played a game for them.
dude, I completely forgot that name too. You should be happy if you like him because we have a second version of him with the AHL or in the ECHL. Well, he bounces. There's a goalie for the Checkers and the Everblades named Rasmus Tiernan.
Rasmus?
Rasmus Tiernan.
That's interesting. I mean,
I saw him play 3 games with the Checkers, and this man, when he would drop down to save, he would be like 15 feet away from the net.
really.
Play was over. He was like a freaking fish.
You're right. I mean, you should look at Buffalo's goalie system. I mean, Buffalo's goalie system is pretty unique. Not that it's amazing or anything. I mean, they got some pretty good goalies coming up in the future. But, they have Linus Ullmark, who played a good chunk of NHL games this year when Leonard got out. You have Andrei Makarov. You have Olofsson. You have... I'm trying to think. There's a couple of them in the Swedish leagues, but I can't name them all exactly in the top of my head, but there are a good chunk of Swede goalies that Sabres have in their farm system, which is ridiculous.
You know who do y'all think? No, you can't say Kararamo because he's definitely not the worst. Who do you think the worst playing goaltender is now?
Worst playing goalie now?
Yes, in the league now.
Actually, I know one. Alex Stelak.
Is this a goalie that's played more than at least 10 games?
No, this is a goalie that played at least 60 to 70 with the Sharks. He was in the James Reimer trade.
No, I'm saying like, is this right now is a goalie who's at least played 10 games this season?
Yeah, Jerry, this is either he's a tandem goalie or he's played for more than 10 to 15 games.
That's hard to say.
I gotta say Stalock.
You want to know who I'd say?
Hiller.
No.
Definitely not the worst.
No.
I was either going to say Stalock or I was going to say Anthony Naomi.
I was gonna say Anton Forsberg, but I don't know if that counts.
Maybe even Bobrovsky, but I can't.
No, you can't put Bobrovsky because the dude was like injury prone. That's not really fair.
Nah, that's not fair in general. I mean, that's like saying to put RG3 on the worst quarterback situation in the NFL, but you can't really compare him because it's unfair to say because he's always been injury prone because the Redskins fucked him up.
I said I would have if he was healthy. That's why I would have said Bobrovsky. It used to be for me, honestly. It used to be Varlamov. But then again, last season he was also injury prone a lot.
There's a lot of goalies that are injury prone. Cam Ward is definitely on that list.
I had Varlamov playing in my fantasy, and he was doing really well for Colorado in the beginning of the season last year. He was racking me up points, but then he got that lower groin injury that just kept with him the entire season.
And groin injuries tend to keep with goalies, I'm sure, as you know.
Yep. It's crazy.
When you drop down the butterfly and you do like a right pad kick save, and then all of a sudden you just feel that nice, tight, just like stretch of that muscle, then you know you're fucked up.
That's true. I mean, James Reimer was on that list at one point, but to be honest with you, James Reimer actually got better as he progressed throughout his career.
Sparks.
No, Sparks. I think is good.
I'm still giving it to Jonas Hiller for worst goaltender right now.
Yeah, that's
No.
That's what I said a second ago. Hiller.
Wasn't last year's worst goalie Anders Lindback?
Yes.
He's pretty bad. I mean, like the thing is, like it's raw. You know.
Hey, did he let in like some like two like really shitty goals this year?
I don't remember. I don't watch the Coyotes.
No, they're from the blue line.
I completely renege my statement about saying either Varlamov or Stalock. The Montreal's stand-in for Price. What's his name? Oh, fuck. Starts with a C.
Scrivens?
Mike Condone.
Oh, yeah,
Condon.
yeah, he is garbage.
Steph would probably be, and then Steph would probably be on here like, oh, you know, he's doing pretty good for himself in Montreal.
No, he's not. And you can't blame the offense or the defense on the Montreal Canadiens because you got some pretty good players. He has let in some real sloppy shots. He also let in a center ice.
And he's going to get his ass kicked on Thursday.
I'm not expecting too much from Carey Price's backup.
Yeah, and all the Habs fans think that Carey Price is coming back this season. It's like, no fucking way, dude. They already said he's out for the season, and yet he's...
I'm telling you, he might be back this season.
I doubt
He's
it.
out there on the ice doing drills.
He needs
If they were smart, they wouldn't bring him back.
Plays for World Cup of Hockey.
There's no reason to rush him. The Canadiens are not making the playoffs.
No, and the best thing they can do is wait for the World Cup of Hockey and have Price completely healthy.
When is that? In September?
Yeah, something like that.
Jeez.
Dude, North America's 23 and under team. North America's jersey, that red and black piece of crap. Oh, dude, all the jerseys. It's like throwback to the 90s.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, Canada's jersey is pretty sick. The U.S. is pretty sick. But get rid of the stupid fucking lines on the side of the jerseys. I know the jersey was made by Adidas, but seriously, get rid of the fucking lines, dude. It doesn't really make any difference.
Complete trash.
Yeah, right?
Jersey.
Such a bum jersey, man. Finland's is pretty nice, though. I'll give them that.
God. I mean, the Sharks were somehow able to pull off disgusting teal jerseys. Teal has not come back in style at all. I don't know why they keep putting it on jerseys thinking it might work. Especially teal and orange for the Sharks.
But they did steal the Sabres number jersey. Like, you know on the Sharks jersey right now, they have the number on the chest?
Yep.
Well, originally that was taken from the Buffalo Sabres in the 06-07 jerseys, and then when they did the re-release of the RPH jerseys in 2007-8, where everybody had shitty jerseys when they were saying this was the new generation NHL, quote unquote. And the San Jose Sharks took half of the Buffalo Sabres idea and made it into their own. Like it was nothing. The Islanders did it for a little while, and then they stopped doing it, and they went back with the retro look.
I mean, if we're talking about stealing jerseys and bad jerseys, 06, 07, the Buffalo Slugs.
Fucking Christ.
I mean, y'all were fucking slugs. You weren't even buffaloes. You were a buffalo head on a slug's body.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest.
It's like a little gerbil, personally.
All right, hear me out. I think personally, the jerseys at the time when they first came out, the original, not the RBKH versions, the 06-07 Buffalo Sabres jerseys, the ones when they had the best team in the league, that jersey was nice. But when they did the re-release, that was a piece of shit.
So, honestly, I don't agree. Obviously, just because I think the Buffalo Slug / Gerbil / Ink Smear was pretty bad. But you want to know a really good jersey that the NHL did away with because they thought it was ugly?
What?
Calgary Flames Bronco. The Flaming Bronco.
Yes.
That was a dope jersey.
No. Best jersey is the LA Kings purple jersey.
Wait, you're talking about the purple jersey with the 3 crowns? You mean the 68, 69 expansion jerseys?
No. I'm talking about the one with the 03-04 alternate jerseys with the one on the crest near the waist area. It's in Los Angeles, and it was all purple.
Oh, I remember that. That was a pretty cool jersey.
Yeah, I love it. Who puts purple on a jersey?
That was when Yakamura Fukufuji was playing for or backing up in goal for the Kings, the only Japanese goalie.
Wasn't Jeremy Roenick on that team too?
Honestly, I wouldn't know. I didn't follow the Kings that much back then.
Fair enough.
Speaking of Japanese, let's talk about my friend Charles Wong.
Oh,
Thank
fuck
God. He's
Hey, guys,
finally decided.
hey, it's getting a little late. I'm gonna have to go, guys.
That's fine.
Let's do it.
I'll see y'all later.
Adios.
And let's talk about him. I remember when he first came over and bought the Islanders, his first response was, hey, they were having trouble in net. They said, why don't you just go ahead and hire a sumo wrestler to play net? He'll cover the entire net. Oh, he'll play the entire net. I'm like, said, this is great.
Yep.
He also read the book Hockey for Dummies, so that's always nice. I'm like, hey. I'm just so happy he's finally no longer the majority owner. Oh.
Actually, he's the majority owner until the end of the season.
Okay, well, and coming in a few months, he's no longer the majority owner. Thank God.
Yeah, but think of the Buffalo Sabres in the 03-04 season with Tom Golisano. The team was about to move to Hamilton, and the Golisano was like, you know what? We're gonna keep the Sabres in Buffalo. We're gonna buy players by saving money. Okay. It's nice that he saved the Sabres and all that, especially with Gary Bettman helping on board. For some reason, they fucking hate us.
Gary Bettman hates any pre-1990 hockey team.
The Buffalo Sabres is definitely on that list. The New York Islanders are on that list.
Oh, yeah. I mean, under Gary Bettman, we have seen, we saw the rise of the Panthers, the Lightning, the
Ducks.
Thrashers, the Ducks, the Coyotes,
Senators.
the Avalanche. I mean, we have seen so many. Not even the Senators. Pushing the Senators aside, under Gary Bettman, we have seen hockey being played in the South.
And that's not very good.
And I mean, thank God Carolina has a team. Don't get me wrong. I like how North Carolina has a team. Don't take the Hurricanes away. But Gary Bettman hates any bad original team from before his time.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I could not believe originally that the Atlanta Thrashers happened to be the place that they decided to move a team towards. And the thing is, their team was so abysmal that they just decided, hey, we're gonna employ. I think it was like 3 times as many black players as any other team in the NHL. I think they had like nine black players in the NHL. The thing is, they were not great players. But the thing is, I had to appeal to the local people around there. I'm like, the team is just not very good. I said, if you won, it didn't even matter what color skin you have on the ice. As long as you win, people go to the games.
Yeah, that's stereotyping right there, just to be honest. I mean, if you're gonna talk about black players, you can think of Dustin Buffin and Evander Kane right off the mat, and they had Jordan Samuels Thomas,
PK Subban. PK Subban.
One is
Evander
a
Kane.
player, one is a scrub. Evander Kane is a scrub.
Oh.
Buffon is awesome.
First of all, Evander Kane could put up points. All right, Evander Kane is second on the team in scoring behind Jack Eichel.
Doesn't change that he's a greasy punk.
Okay, but he still puts up points.
It's true. He does put up points. That's a fact.
He does put up points.
But
you can hate him all you want, but he's a good player.
You had to smile when Dustin Bufflin laid out Evander Kane on the first shift.
No, because you know what? In the end of the day, the Sabres won that game.
Oh, but it was beautiful. It was
Why? If he was on, first of all, if he was on the Hurricanes, you would be going nuts for him. Okay, let's be honest. You would go nuts if Evander Kane was on the Hurricanes.
No.
Hmm?
No.
Yes.
No.
Come on, Rob. Don't lie.
I mean, Jerry, where are you? Jerry, come back me up. No, straight up, but going back to the Thrashers and just Gary Bettman and stuff, Atlanta will never have another franchise.
No.
Had a franchise from 1973 to 1979. They had the Atlanta Flames. That failed.
Well, I mean, the Quebec City idea kind of broke down today, and George Locke was like, oh, yeah, the NHL decided to cancel the idea of putting a team in Quebec City. I'm like, why? I mean, I get why, because of the economics, but still.
Why would the city of Hartford ever move the Whalers? Whalers were drawing in 15,000 plus people every game. Carolina can barely manage 10,000.
But yet they have a championship.
When they win, people go to those games. It's all about winning. The thing is, like, when you play in a northern-based market, you're going to have people go win or lose, rain or shine, because, you know, hockey's an important sport. Thing is, when they lose down here, people aren't going to go. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the ticket sales for the 2005-2006 Carolina Hurricanes, beginning to mid-season, pretty low. As soon as we hit that playoff contention point,
the Hurricanes place was the place to be. Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh was the place to be.
Well, let's just remember that the the Carolina Hurricanes won with a lot of Hartford players and a lot of Hartford coaching staff.
Fair enough.
I mean, Peter Karmanos is just such a bad owner.
You need someone like Terry Bagula, a guy that's not afraid to spend money, and you need a general manager like Tim Murray, who actually can keep the core players and actually could develop with those guys and going into the next couple years without having to trade away actual assets unless they turn into malcontents like Mikhail Grigorenko and Nikita Zadorov, and you use those assets to turn into Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay, I'm about to get off soon, but with my closing statement here, Ron Francis is an incredible general manager.
Yep. After 6-7 years of failure. Yep. Great general manager right there, Rob.
Murray played against his kid.
Bruh, you're talking about the Hurricanes having 7 years of failure. Look at your Sabres.
Yeah, that's 5, and at least we made the playoffs.
I mean, we made the playoffs in 2009.
Yeah, and you got swept by Pittsburgh.
Who's a natural contender?
Who cares? It was 2009. The Sabres at least have a plan.
The Sabres have lost in the first round of the playoffs. They haven't made it out of the first round of the playoffs since 1993, the year I was born. So.
Who is this? Buffalo?
With my
No, they made the conference finals in 05-06.
This is going straight to you, Bobby.
No, the Islanders.
Oh, the Islanders. The Islanders.
Yeah, they haven't won a playoff series since like 1993.
What about it, Rob?
With my closing statement, this is going out to you, Bobby. Carolina fucked up your chances of winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and here's my chances. We're gonna rock your fucking world in a couple years.
Nah, dude. But hey, I'm getting off, guys.
All right.
I'll see y'all later.
See ya. So now we're down to the final two admins, myself and TJ. So, to close off this phenomenal podcast, TJ, how do you want to state this out?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, how do you want to close this out? I mean, it's been an hour. I mean, we went from 5 admins to now 2. And soon it's going to be 1. It's crazy. I have to say, this was one of the fewer interesting podcasts we're going to possibly have. So, I mean,
I think the numbers that we have right now are pretty good. I mean, like again, 4 to 5 is kind of like the safe number. Anything else, it just becomes discombobulated. It gets in disarray.
that's true. So, I think we should cut it off from here, from the rest of our admins to yours, and we will be around in the nearer future. And, we're going to be doing more of these in the future. I think it's a nice conversation. It's a nice way to interact, just to go from there. TJ?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm on 100% agreement
Yep.
with you there, Bobby.
Yep. So I guess we're both gonna sign off, and we'll talk to you hockey fans later. All right, peace.
Idiots.
Peace.